Local radio for local people.
Yes, indeed it is. It's Portobello Radio. And
is.
we are here on the Lancaster West Estate in Baseline. We've got Isis back. Isis,
Yes,
welcome back.
Hello.
Rap, as they say.
How are you two doing?
Yeah, man. Well, we missed you. That's for sure.
I missed you too.
Mental.
We'll expect to be told exactly how we did.
Yes, I will be giving you an assessment.
Yeah. Anyway, we have lots going on today. We have Robert and Ruben from Lanc West.
Amazing.
We have Siop, who is taking pictures and may turn us into a video. Who knows?
Who knows?
Wow.
We have the Wilson Junction Poets coming along on the Zoom.
Lovely.
Is Shireen coming?
Yes, Shireen is going to come in and tell us about the project they did at the Village, Bay 56 for Black History Month.
All
and
good.
hopefully JC Kamal will get down after his rehearsal to tell us about the Black History Month project he did, because Black History is 365 days a year.
Say.
It does not end at the end of October.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to second that, haven't you?
We have.
There may be songs about trains today because we have on the show the Wilson Junction Poets.
Or something about Clapham Junction, if there's any connection.
Ooh.
Well, there is. It's the Overground.
Yeah.
Of course. Ooh. Yeah, sorry. Gremlins everywhere, not to drop to drink. Isis. It's about how your month was. We haven't actually yet, but what have you been doing this week?
Thank you for my lovely referee, Damien, by the way. Big shout out to Damien for being so supportive. But the Arts Council, their portal. Anyway, that's another story for another day. But that's what I was working on the last week. And of course, the thing that must not be mentioned, keeping an eye on the thing that must not be mentioned.
Did you stay up for it?
No. But I mean, it does have impact for me because most of my family are in the States, and my cousins are African-American men. My uncle's an African-American man. My brother's there. His partner's Hispanic. So for my people in the States, even though I love the way George Galloway said two cheeks of the same arse. And I think, a brother who I interviewed on my other show who lives in Pittsburgh, African-American brother, said it's harm reduction, basically. So it's not like it's going to be great, Biden and Harris, but it is harm reduction. So
no,
I mean, for me, on a personal level, because of my connection in the States, I would still like to see them getting over he who must not be named, 45.
He's had his time.
Yeah. 4 years was enough.
4 years. Stop count. We are going to play another tune, and
So we're going to hear what you've been doing.
What have I been doing?
I mean, were you bothering with it? I mean,
well, I was also rushing to hit the midday deadline on Thursday, as I think every single person I know probably was. The Arts Council develop your creative potential or practice or something.
And you managed it.
Yeah,
my computer let me down, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's a clunky portal.
Literally, I couldn't get it to work. So anyway, it starts again on the 21st. So
Wednesday, I spent the day in front of my computer. I started drinking in the morning because Trump was winning.
Is that your excuse?
I was watching the Betfair screen, and then about 12 o'clock, you can literally see the tables turn, and suddenly Trump stopped being the favourite.
And did you stop drinking?
No, then I started drinking because Biden was winning.
Okay, so you were just drinking on Wednesday, basically.
Yeah.
What about you, Gregsy? Were you doing developing your creative practice as well? Or?
No, I don't need to develop anything.
The only person who wasn't.
Fully rounded. I'm fully
developed.
Fully developed. Exactly.
Well done, Greg. So you've got us back in the headphones, which is a major plus.
Yeah. I love these live shows, baby. They're great. They keep us all on our toes, and they keep my grey matter agile, which is what it's all about.
It is at our age. We need to keep that grey matter agile.
Oh, I'll tell you what I did do last week. I sent off some juggling balls because I read somewhere that learning to juggle is a great way of staving off dementia.
So nice. You need to be juggling an awful lot.
Well, yeah. Luckily, I'll be juggling on the radios.
Hey.
Yeah, juggling.
No one will be able to tell if I'm any good.
Yeah,
we have loads of guests on the show. Ruben and Robert are sitting there behind a welter of plants, and in the tradition of cheesy intros, here is Susie and the Banshees.
Oh, nice.
COVID compliant. Have you got Roberts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Well, actually, we can't see you because of your wonderful array of plants.
Yeah. Sorry, but we're gonna edit all of that out. That was Hong Kong Gun, which is a punk record from the 70s, which is when I met our next guest on the show. It's Robert Perino.
And the last time I saw Susie was in a vet's where I was with my Chihuahua and she was with her pet cat. How we became middle-aged suddenly. Because I remember King's Road. Now, King's Road, for me, was the World's End pub. I remember seeing a band called Chelsea at the Chelsea Potter with Billy Idol in it. Yeah. Gene October sang and I remember this. I always remember this, right? Because it was like, when was that? 77, 70, right?
76.
And I'm at the bar having a drink, and this guy with long hair, right, goes to me, oh, it was much better once in the 10 years before. And that's always stuck with me. So here with young people like Sion and younger people, most people are young, is that things weren't better. They were just different.
No, I mean, they were actually quite miserable.
But we had fun. We had fun. I remember seeing Adamant X-Ray Specs. That's one of my favorite. X-Ray Specs, The Man in the Moon.
Yeah. So we started in Chelsea. I'm up here around the corner in Silchester.
How did we end up so close to each other?
You're here on the Lancaster West estate.
How did I end up here? I ended up here through the courtesy of Cloud's house. I went to rehab in 95. Mm-hmm. I thought I was back at boarding school. I went to Cloud's house where they had croquet, right? Yeah. And I quite like rehab because I'm an only child. I quite like everyone getting up at the same time. I'd go. I thought it was a wonderful. I quite liked it. But they banned the croquet because I got addicted to the croquet, and we were all playing. I just thought I was in some posh house in Wiltshire, wherever it was. Yeah, so Lancaster West Estate means a lot to me. Well, when I first got the flat, it was like a little holiday flat. I thought it was a little holiday flat, and it's meant a lot. And I've stuck onto it through many strange periods in my life. And I'm one of those awful people that's answering my own questions. So ask me your questions, and I'll try and answer it, right? Because I answer my own. I'm rhetorical.
Nowadays, you tend a tea garden.
I became a gardener. Well, I went to boarding school, right? Okay. Hands up, I'm now déclassé. I've at the right level I should be at. I like where I'm at, right? But when I came from India and I went to boarding school, and I was 9, and on literally the first night there was a fire.
Wow.
And it was a wooden building, and the matron who got an award got all the kids to go down, because I can't remember the fire, I can remember the smoke. And if you go down, the smoke won't hit the floor, so we could breathe. Parker, who had asthma, turned to the right. He didn't survive. I went to the left and I survived. I blocked him out of my mind until the elephant in the room, which is obviously right. And after that, I remember I built him a little rockery garden, and I got a little award. I never got any awards at school. And so basically, after what happened, I went, what do I really like? Kind of half an act. I was an actor because I was a show-off, maybe a bit of music or whatever. I thought, I want to be a gardener. So I started volunteering, which led then to being at the Chelsea Physic Garden. Have you been there?
I have indeed, yeah.
Through King James Gospel, through starting with a couple of hours, and it's grown and grown and grown to the point where I've got all these plants here because I've got, through the Grenfell Projects Fund, I've got some money to give every resident a plant, and I've got you here a pint.
You should see, that looks succulent, if I may say.
Yes, it's called a knobby.
I think it's quite appropriate for you, Piers.
I'm actually growing. That's for you.
It's a touching tribute to Nobby Styles.
Yes, it is.
Who died in the last week. Nobby Styles, World Cup winner, ladies.
Yeah, I loved his dancing. His dancing was amazing.
No, that's the famous picture, isn't it, of him in half step.
I'm on the radio. Can I call you back, Louise? I'm on the radio.
So
right. So basically, where are we at? Kings Road.
No, we're trying to stay on the Lancaster West estate.
Okay,
We're
Lancaster
talking about
West Estate.
plants for residents.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll say one thing. I found in my life, I grew up in Calcutta. In Calcutta, the goddess is Kali of Calcutta. And Kali, and in Calcutta has, look, life is death, resurrections, constant resurrections. We get disappointed, we get dumped, we dump people, relationships end, things start. And the thing about gardening, it's you get used to the cycle of life, and I get so attached to the plants. I worry, oh my, what you plant a seed, there's nothing more humbling than planting a seed. So I will say this, right? And I'm sitting next to Ruben, and I'm like, really, I've seen you for years. And I know you did clubs and stuff, and now we've got to know each other. And he writes some amazing words, and I'm going to do a poem in a bit. One thing I will say, I lived quite an atomized. What's happened is I feel there's more of a connection between us now. So you have to, in life, look at what you can take out of tragedy. And if we are, so for Parker, for everyone, I think it's important that we all connect more, Ian Forster, Just Connect. Did they use that still, that advert for Waterstones? Only Connect?
I can't remember. So, Robert, Ruben.
I'm going to put the microphone. Ruben's got the most beautiful voice. Yeah, Ruben.
I'm going to play a quick bit of Curtis Band. Come back and talk to you, Ruben.
From nowhere, through a caravan, around the campfire light, a lovely woman in motion, with hair as dark as night. Her eyes were like.
We are joined, as we were saying, by Ruben. Ruben, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Good.
Yeah, nice. So, we've known each other for years by sight. Say hello to. How you doing, brother, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this is the opportunity for me to ask you, what is your Lancaster West story?
My Lancaster West story.
How long have you been?
I
How
came
long
to
have you been?
Lancaster West about many moons ago.
Yeah.
And
more than a couple of years ago.
Yeah, many moons ago. I've been in the area. My Lancaster West story is I just come in, shut my door, play my music, say hello to the neighbours, and Phil Irie, that's me.
Cool. And so Robert keeps going on about your writing, which I think he's going. Is he going to read it, or are you going to read it?
He's going to read
You're,
it.
you're
Got a great narrating voice.
a poet.
Yes, I do a few lyrics.
Yeah, because I've heard you do poetry quite a few times.
Thank you. So,
Robert,
Robert, you're gonna do some lyrics there.
Last week we had a Lanc Fest in the Tea Garden, and it was Black History Month, and we had a beautiful meal cooked by Kim Monty. Really good food, wasn't it? It was really. Although, what do you think of Black History Month? Do you know what? This is a show. It's rock and roll.
You're supposed to be reading.
Oh,
Ruben's
I see. I've been
piece
told
now.
off. I've been told off. Right. Middle age. At what point does middle age become old? I mean, do tell me, Sion. All right. Not yet. All right. Racism is always an epidemic. Ignorance and a lack of empathy are the most common symptoms. Instead of coughing and sneezing, the infected start to talk crap. Sentences like, "Oh, I don't see color, and one of my friends is black." You can always tell racism in communities by small-minded people saying, "Oh, you're just playing the blame game." When governments and media put all our problems and suffering in one box and call it BAME, people, you have to learn for yourself. I am risen, so I no longer want to sing the blues. Now, try to imagine, if you dare, being ostracized and ridiculed, branded like a cattle, repeatedly whipped and beaten. Do you think this is fair? Try to imagine, if you dare. I am risen, so I no longer want to sing the blues. Let me take you by the hand, and you can walk a mile in my shoes. Did you know that during slavery, they used to call our children pups? Now, listen, I know this is October, actually, November, Ruben, but a black man is not just for Christmas or October. A black man is for life. So To you, my lyrics may be just poetic, words, bars, or codes. Just remember that melanin is always worth more than diamonds, platinum, and gold.
That's it. Well done. Well
Brap,
done.
brap, 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 brap.
You see, this is why I gave it to him, because it's tailor-made. It's tailor-made.
That way,
Well
yeah.
done,
So
well
this
done, Robert.
that's
Well
your
done.
partnership.
Yeah,
You
well
write
done.
and he reads.
I mean, there are many parts of that are absolutely spot on. I mean, obviously, the bit about Black History Month, we mentioned it before October. We mentioned it during October. We're probably going to carry on mentioning it. You know,
You see, every month is Black History Month on Portobello Radio, listeners.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
No,
yes.
absolutely.
We don't stick with the convention.
No.
You said something.
Maybe we do probably talk about the past a bit too much, but
Yeah.
never mind.
Past informs the future. What did Bob
Yeah.
Marley say? If you
Yeah.
don't know your you know,
Yeah.
you don't know where you're
But
coming from.
I like one question, one line in that thing that did make me think is that saying that white people, a lot of my friends, in fact, you know, I don't see any colour.
Yeah.
What a load of shit.
Well, you know, this woman, what's her name? Jane.
Ruben.
This woman's called Jane.
Oh yes, a little woman from America who
yeah.
does the blue eyes, brown eyes.
Yeah, she does that test.
Yeah.
She always says people who say they don't see any colour are a bit false. So I was looking at her, so I just put them lyrics in.
No, it's so true though. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something that I've obviously as a person of African heritage as well, when I've come up against that, I don't see color. I'm like, how false, how insincere can you be to say something like that? I don't. We all see it. The difference is to respect different people and to celebrate the difference
And
to
then
acknowledge it
if
and
you
to
want
value it.
if you want to speak up, they say you're just playing the blame game.
Exactly.
And then now, so like you're coloured, you're black, and now we're BAME.
Oh God, that's another one.
Do
Yeah.
you know? I just
Yeah.
don't know what's
Fame of
going
your
on.
lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Would it be wrong to give a quote by Oscar Wilde that only the superficial did not judge by appearance? In the sense, you
Yeah.
know how we dress and how we look, and it's taken into consideration, but it's not. But it's complicated and nuanced, isn't it? It's a nuanced discussion.
It's important to be authentic. I mean, we do look at people. I'm sure that when any one of us walk out onto the street, people look at us. I mean, obviously, besides our race or our gender, but even what we're wearing, it says something about how we identify, who we are. You know, how your hair is, what you got. If you've got a bunch of big old African unks around your neck, these things all impact. And we should be honest and authentic. And we do look at people and think, oh, so and so. So what's wrong with that?
I'm sort of postmodern freedom for tooting today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are a bit Wolfie Smith, aren't you? Yeah, Wolfie Smith.
It is
Wolfie
funny,
Smith,
isn't it?
yeah.
When white people avoid mentioning colour, because there's things, the few basics, man, woman, right? There's cut half the people out, old or young, that cuts it down, and they'll go through almost everything before they'll actually get to black or white. It's, anyway, we are going to come back and we're going to talk about spoken word and how good it is to let it out, whether it's Robert reading or Ruben or Ice's writing. And then we're going to have the Wilson Junction Poets and some more tunes about trains. In the meanwhile, Wildfires by Salt Media Communications people. Yeah. All right, that was Salt.
Fantastic band. Their album is amazing.
So here we are. Sorry, we haven't had Zoom on for a while, so it's confusing the hell out of us, but we're getting there. We've got the Wilson Junction Poets sitting ready on Zoom to talk to us. But I thought I might just ask you, Ruben, before you go, where's your mic gone, mate?
You can't miss it. It's bright fuchsia pink.
Lovely,
It
isn't it? Lovely. Yeah.
How did you? I mean, what makes you write? Did you write lyrics when you were younger? Do you
When I
just
was
walk
younger,
around and it comes to you?
It comes to you. It's inspiration. But when I was younger, I used to. I could say I used to write lyrics, but I've never really written a word. I've always just thought of them and put them together.
How,
But were you involved in like sounds or anything? Did you?
When I was younger, I used to do a little bit of
MCing?
yeah.
Because that is poetry.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
when I used to listen to the MCs and they were just spitting the bars, or
Yeah.
just if it was whether it was hip hop or reggae or whatever on the sound
Yeah.
systems. So that in itself is a kind of formation,
Of course. We started off with the toasting.
as it was called back in the day. You show
We
your
s- yeah,
age there.
yeah, we
Ruben.
started off with a toasting, and then we just fled to the garage and just keep cool. You know what I mean? And I just didn't really. I don't like speaking out in the open too much. So I used to write for people or give people my bars, and they say, yeah, they use this, they use that, and they
Nice.
give me a mention, a shout out. But I always used to be in the background.
Okay, but now you're in the front.
Oh,
You come up to the front.
so name's Hercules, but I'm strong enough to love. You know.
Nice.
How do you? I mean, how do you remember them? I cycle around all the time. I have brilliant ideas on my bicycle, and then unless I stop and write some of them down, they've gone by the time I get back home.
Well, now, now with the technology, you can speak into your phone, can't you? And you can speak into it, and it just comes up, and then you just correct it, go back to it, and rearrange it. You know.
Cool. How do you write yours then?
I don't write anything because I've always hated writing. Being dyslexic as a kid and everything, my writing's not the actual handwritten. You know, and in Trinidad, I used to get licks. I used to literally get a wooden ruler and beat you between each knuckle because your handwriting wasn't good. So that put me off even more. So I'm not a fan of writing. So I type everything. I make notes and I sometimes do voice notes just to remember an idea. And then I write everything on my iPad or sometimes on the phone in notes or on the laptop.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ruben, thank you so much for
You're
coming
welcome.
by.
You're welcome.
Robert, thank you very much for telling us about the plants. If,
And also for bringing the plants.
yeah.
They make the place beautiful and they
Can-
clean the air.
can people apply for plants, or do you just have to have a particular postcode?
I'm doing it quite organically. I'll be there and I'll meet someone, a resident or someone, and we'll get talking and I'll just feel it. I'm doing it quite slowly. I mean, COVID's changed everything. So
Yeah.
I've maybe handed out about 50 plants so far, and it's just growing. Yeah, come to me. I'll have a plant for you.
And where do we find you, Robert? What happens at the tea garden?
I'm elusive but not evasive.
Well, must admit, I came to the tea garden one morning and it was locked.
Well, that's what can I say?
You
You know what? I'm about to put a new. Yeah, well,
When can people come and find you?
the tea garden is open from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. But soon I'm going to have a lock with a number on it, and the right people will get that number. And Piers, you might have that
I
number.
might even be in that gang.
You're as happy as you decide to be.
I think, but the right people should have to do something in order to get access. Because it should be like special, so they have to go dig or work.
Yeah.
Make Piers do some digging and some planting, and then he gets access.
No, he's
Don't just give it away.
No, Piers is a very good gardener. Funny enough, I've been doing a garden for a cat A
Yeah.
from the very near you, which has been a very moving and a wonderful experience. I've really enjoyed it. So, but you're a very good gardener. And by the way, man, you make some jam.
Well, I have to say, my wife.
He doesn't really share his jam though. Has he ever? Have you had his jam? Oh my God! So he makes jam and he doesn't bring it into the
Jam, Mama, jam.
tut.
Ruben.
Piers.
Say goodbye.
Where's the jam,
You
mate?
got me in
Where's the
loads of
jam?
trouble,
Yeah,
mate.
yeah. So I'm just saying
You've
goodbye.
outed him.
I've been to Portobello jam, but I've never tasted your jam.
Yeah, we want your jam. Where's the jam?
Lady Marmalade.
Thank you.
Indeed.
We're going back to trains, people. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Robert. This is Duke Ellington.
I've taken the A train. Have you?
Have you? That is the
It's
one.
the one that goes to Harlem from downtown, and it
Yeah.
misses out the whole of the in-between bits.
Yeah.
Quite a few African American artists have done stuff about the A train. It's quite a well-known train.
No, absolutely.
It's a thing.
It's definitely a thing. That was another corny intro means of getting to the Wilson Junction Poets. Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Now, Kira, you are sitting there with a book called Bewildering, or maybe Bewildering. Tell us about that, and tell us about the Wilson Junction Poets.
Well, my part in it is I did the illustrations for it on the typewriter, but the project itself is a Brent Borough of Culture funded project that Rose Rouse initiated.
Right, yeah.
With the poet and called out for poets and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. You responded, and there were 9. Is it 9 people?
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah.
Do you want to say anything, Ian?
Yeah. So, Kira, thank you. I've now understood what Rose's emails about the typewriter artist actually mean, because we're having quite a few conversations here about what that might mean. But it means you make the illustrations using the Okay, sorry, I'm quite slow on the uptake. So, gentlemen, introduce yourselves. Maybe Ian?
Yeah, hi, my name's Ian McLaughlin. I'm a member of the Wilston Junction Poets, and I'm also a founding member of Poets for the Planet.
All right.
And I've contributed for this book. We wrote a number of poems, and I've got one poem in the book, called Changeling, and another one I wrote called At Wilson Junction, and they've both got a kind of an environmental theme to them.
Great. Well, we'd probably like to hear the Wilson Junction one. Nick, tell us about yourself.
Yeah. Difficult to know where to start, really. I guess you'd say that as a poet, my writing began in prison. I'm an ex-prisoner. Most of my poetry is based around trying to, I guess, keep some fidelity to that experience, the people I went through that experience with, and it has a sort of general political theme to it, based around, writing around social justice issues.
That's quite interesting, because last week we talked to a gentleman called Gabriel Krause, who's about 31, I think, or 33. He's just written a novel which is really merciless in its honesty, about being a roadman, being involved in really big violence in and around South Kilburn. And one of the things he said to us is he was determined to write the book not from his new kind of redeemed point of view, but in the persona that he was at the time.
Yeah.
So when you say you need to keep fidelity to the experience you had, what do you mean by that?
But I think what's expected of anyone who's come to the arts through my kind of background is that we're supposed to be somehow redeemed by the experience. And that's not really how I see it. I think what I want to be true to is how I ended up being the person that I was, and not just present myself as someone who was, somehow kind of flawed and then put through this kind of artistic baptism, and now I'm kind of redeemed to the other side of it. I think that's too easy. That kind of lets institutions off the hook, it lets society off the hook, and it makes all of us who are prisoners or ex-prisoners, as we're just somehow, we're just supposed to be damaged and then repaired. And maybe we need to look at what did the damage in the first place, and that's kind of what I've always wanted to, if you like, be true to, not to dodge that or let institutions off the hook.
Right. Well, that sounds fantastic. I mean, I think. Sorry, this is Isis with us.
I've got a question, which is it's a Brent-funded project. So were all the poets, or are all the poets who've taken part Brent residents or living or working or connected to Brent?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. Well done to Brent for funding something like
No,
that.
I mean, I think our old friend Miriam is involved in the Brent culture.
Right. No wonder.
That it's like brings us to the next. We're gonna. In fact, Nick, would you like to read us a poem? Because we've just talked to you in some depth there.
Yeah,
perhaps
for sure.
We could finish with Ian with the an ode to Wilton Junction.
Yeah, I mean,
over to you.
This
Nick.
is Stop. This is called Stop, and the idea behind Stop was to pay tribute to the workers at Wilton Junction Station, and just to talk about the station as something that exists, it's a workplace, and to recognise the people who are there. So yeah, this is stop. Don't matter if it's the Love train, the Zion train, a downbound train, a lonesome train, or the last train to Scotland. Someone still had to lay these rails, and someone still has to walk these lines and fix these tracks. Men and women from Spanish Town, Coleraine and Krakow, checking points, clearing rainfall dross and trackside scree. An orange high-vis, watchful teams shadow the steps of those from Malahide, Gateshead and Mowbray, who dug out cuttings, laid down ballast, gave sweat and skin and working years, hauled sleepers and slabs to carry the weight of our dreams of speed of escape, and carved out the juncture between our heres and theirs, our goodbyes and new beginnings. Grafting, digging, wielding, from Freightliner yards through to Euston, Kew and Stratford, guards, ticket sellers, engineers, platform staff and signallers, all guarantors of momentum and of safety over profit, whose work that keeps the wheels on track can also make them stop. That's it.
That was fantastic, mate. You know what? I mean, I'm quite old.
Thanks.
Probably nearly as old as you, or what? Sorry, older than even than we. Anyway, I'll get out. I'll stop
Oh,
digging
you're
myself
about
in
to
that
say,
hole.
yeah.
Yeah. I've never thought of a station as a workplace. I've just thought of it as somewhere to hurry through. Being annoyed by the other commuters. That is fantastic, Nick. Perhaps Ian,
Cheers.
you could now
Thanks very much.
tell us about your poem about Wilson Junction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a relative newcomer to Brent. I only started living in Harlesden a couple of years ago, and what I thought about Wilston Junction was that it's got places around it, things like Old Oak Common and Old Oak Lane, and I was expecting to see kind of lots of oak trees, and yet there's kind of an emptiness about the skyline, and I feel that there is an absence of trees, and that was the first thing that struck me. And there's going to be an increased absence, I think, if they continue with the HS2 development. So the poem that I ended up writing, the poem's narrator has come down from Sheep House Wood, which is in Buckinghamshire and will be affected by HS2. And this is an eco poem, and it's called At Wilston Junction.
Fantastic.
Point me to Old Oak Common. I'm a stranger here, down from Sheep House Wood. I've walked 3 days, brought only my pipe. For a handful of acorns, I'll play for you. I know many sweet songs. Before they were axed, the ash tree and sallow would nod in time to my songs. Bats and hair-streaked butterflies dance. Old Oak Common's a daydream, the shady groves and hedges. That way's the scrap metal yard, its flock of white sacks fed with spent engines. Sit with me on the steps of this railed corridor. For a song, I'll give you blackberries, heaped in the leaves of a metro, and cones from the green-needled pine tree. It stands alone in an alley by the station and sings to the wind.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic.
And that's a really good point that you make as well about the tree, because I remember just a few months ago, my friend and I, she actually lives in Harlesden, and I have an allotment there as well. So I'm always there. And we had to actually take down some sign council had put up without consulting locals to cut down a tree, and we just got rid of it all to save the tree. And it's actually a real problem. They're constantly chopping them down. So it's a really important point that you're raising.
Yeah, I mean, I'm afraid that is, like everything else, probably down to insurance companies. That was the reason that Sheffield gave anyway for having to cut down all their trees. Both of those poems were beautiful. I love the way they're about Wilson Junction, but not as we knew it. Kira, you're back. can we ask you to be the one who tells us how to get hold of the book?
Sorry, what's the question?
How do you get hold of the book?
Well, Rose was giving them out, I think, and then I think she's also got them into some libraries, local libraries.
All right.
So
if we've got any
radio presenters,
if we've got anybody out there who's still got any money left, can they buy it? I mean, should they should go? I know you're on Instagram.
They are, but I've still got.
They're freely available.
Wilson Junction Poet.
If you go, sorry, Kieran, if you go to the Brent Borough of Culture website, there's a free PDF download as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And perhaps, Isis, the North Kensington Library could make a request for a couple of copies.
Yes, indeed, that would make sense.
Because we like to have hands across the Harrow Road. That's what we are all about. Hands across the canal, perhaps I should say.
Hands across the Harrow Road. That'll be the new strap line.
Thank you guys for coming on. It sounds brilliant, your project. And I will look at Wilson Junction as more than just somewhere to pass through.
That you pass through.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And a big set of stairs as well.
Cool. You may also be interested to know, I think we might have Faye from Save 100 Scrubs coming down later, but it's all a bit confusing with that lot.
I don't know.
The Wilston Junction Poets. I know they're on Instagram as at Wilston Junction Poets. Back to the trains. Here's Bob Marley. Bob Marley, stopping that train. And if you want to carry on with the trains around Wilson Junction.
Today, it's like Train Day Friday.
Hold on. Yes, if you want to go for that bewildering compilation of Wilson Junction Poets, you go to brent2020.co.uk.
Wilson Junction Poets.
Yeah, we always have a theme, and actually.
So, is there anything from Train Spotting this week? Then have we got that?
No, we've got his lager. Thank you. Was it Nick who mentioned in his poem "Train to Zion"? That made me think of this record, and it's going to also. It's 6 minutes long. We'll be able to get our
next guest on.
Asterisk T together.
Oh, I call it next guest.
You're a disc jockey?
Yeah, that is Hugh Brown, Train to Zion, disco mix. I vaguely remember having that on a 12-inch record, but I can't tell you what the label was. Shireen, hey, how you doing? We need,
Good evening. How's everybody?
There you go.
Yeah.
This is
social distance microphone.
Yeah. No, I have to say that every week they're throwing a new complication, throwing social distancing, Zoom, track and trace, the Tory government, the American election. It's all. Talking of all that. Now, you just did a brilliant event at Bay 56. Do you want to tell us about it?
Tell us all about it. Why you did it as well?
Okay. I've got my crew. Aidan, are you there, Aidan?
Oh. I'll try. Shireen, Mike, can you tell us a little bit, and we'll try.
We'll work out why we can't hear Aidan.
Yeah, sure.
But he's coming, I'm sure.
Yeah. So basically, Artillery Collective, new collective that was formed over the lockdown, and our main purpose was to support new artists, or is to support new artists, and to develop just the culture in the area and just develop ourselves as well culturally. So Artillery Collective, there are 4 of us. There's myself. There is we're 2C87, also known as Zico.
Mm-hmm.
There is Aidan, and there is MJ. Now we've all got collective skills that we believe would propel us to be a creative collective. And last Friday we put on a Black History Month event. It was sponsored by Green Shoots, the KNC Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciation goes out to them. Yeah,
we'll ask you more about them in a minute.
Yeah, appreciation, literally. and it was a phenomenal event because obviously with the lockdown, I'd been pursuing my daughter's primary school to put on some Black History Month events, and I've been doing that for the past 3 years, and they, you know, it's been quite frustrating.
Is that Avondale? I haven't got my glasses on.
Yeah, this is Ameru. Say hi, Ameru.
Hi.
Hi there.
My name's Mary.
Mary, which school do you go to?
Burlington Dean.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, expose them. So, oh, really?
I mean, I didn't know it was possible that schools couldn't do Black History Month anyway.
Well, it is possible, but there is resistance. But I will continue to keep on at them until they do. But besides that, I just felt
we're back at the event.
We're back at the event.
It's Friday night. It's Bay 56.
It's Bay 56, and it was amazing. It was like hard work, definitely. But the show brought together some artists in the form of poetry or spoken word. There was some classical musical playing. There was drumming by and singing. Yeah, we also
what
had
about your other daughter? Did she play the violin?
She played the violin.
Yes.
She did a poem, and she also sang a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so it was a family affair.
Well, yeah, to a certain
family
extent.
affair.
And we had some rappers and some singers, and then there's a lady from the community, my mum. She designed some clothes for our fashion show, so it was really, really
fantastic.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So
it was enlightening, and it really did raise the vibrations for a lot of people who've been in the lockdown and who've been feeling really low and just.
So tell us the 4 members of the collective. Do you all have the same skills? What I mean,
varied.
Tell us what each of you does.
Okay. So I'm a singer. I do sing. I've sang in the past, but obviously for children, sometimes, you know, mums kind of divert.
Yeah.
But I do sing. So I've always had a passion for just, you know, raising that vibration, allowing people to express themselves through song and sound and art and stuff. I've also got experience in business and
events
organizing and, you know, working with young people and youth and stuff. So that's where I am. We're 2287. He's an artist. He's a spoken word rapper, musician, professional drummer. So he brings into that his creative musical flair, and you know he's very extensive in his contacts and stuff. So that's brilliant.
Right.
And he's very talented.
So he can bring the rest of the band.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then we have Aidan. He is a life coach. He's brilliant. He's a businessman. And he just levels everybody off, and he's always positive, and that's what's needed within a group and a collective. So that's Aidan. He's brilliant. He'll come in and speak a bit more about himself when we get him on sound.
Yeah.
And then there is MJ, who is a animator by trade. He's worked with the likes of Microsoft and Google and a lot of large companies, and he is a graphic designer as well and a tattoo artist. So we'll probably come out with lots of tattoos.
So basically, you've got the whole set of skills.
We do a very broad skill set, which is really, really important within a fresh team. And we are very visionary, and we've got lots of plans for the future and stuff. So yeah,
that's fantastic. Do you know, I might play another train song, and then we're going to see if we can get Aidan in on
please.
the WhatsApp. Because we could Zoom. Come on, team, we can do this.
WhatsApp can work.
Brilliant.
Well, and we're coming to you from the land of the midnight train to Hammersmith. In fact, it's the 12:50. The last train on the network is the Hammersmith and City, going back home to West London to Latimer.
That's for you stop-outs and vagabonds, Piers. People like me don't even know what time the last train is.
Well, I live by the.
I'm in my house.
I used to live by the river. Now I live by the railway, and I can tell you exactly when the last train goes, and I can tell you exactly when the first train starts. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So have we got Aidan on the line?
Hey, can we stick a mic in? Yeah, Aidan, you there, mate?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
can.
better.
That
That's
is
better.
loud
Now we
and
can
clear.
hear you. Now it's working.
Who needs WhatsApp when you've got a mic and a speaker? Aidan, Shireen's just told us a little bit about the show on Friday. Can you tell us what your part in it was?
But well, Serene pretty much touched up on it. I'm more of the guy in the back where I help set things up, bring everybody together, and this helped Shireen really orchestrate the whole thing. But it's been great working with a diverse team at the same time.
And why, Aidan? Why did you want to get involved in this collective with Shireen and the rest of the peeps?
Well, it's funny how we even came together. I met Shireen through an online platform where there's like a black company, and we got together. Then we had different ideas, and we just got really excited. And because Shireen is a go-getter and actually does what she says, it helped me do the same thing as well. So it was mutually better fit. And then we met, and Shireen brought in Zico with his great music, and we've just been blowing up from there. It's kind of smooth, easy, and fun.
That's great. And I mean, you obviously had a great night on Friday. He says, like, bitter he didn't hear about it, but
You weren't invited, Piers. It's young people only.
Social distancing, actually. So we could only have our crew and, like, you know, if the artist.
It was a proper online event.
Don't worry.
Aidan, tell us where can you guys take this? Where can you go?
Yeah,
from
what's
here?
next?
Oh, that might be telling too much, guys.
All right.
I can tell you a bit. Well, one of our goals is to have a place where young adults and older, more mature performers or artistic individuals can come and learn, grow, and really, honestly, sky's the limit, and see what opportunities come towards us where we feel like it could really add value to people rather than add value to the individual, to an individual.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm a trustee at Youth Action Alliance up the road, and they're having to move all their provision online. I'm sure that's happening with people like Kids on the Green.
Yeah.
We're also working with Octavia Foundation because they've got us into a workshop.
A base.
Is that what you call the place?
Do you know what?
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
brilliant. They
Yeah,
are
base.
absolutely brilliant.
Thomas
So
and Connor.
maybe I'll give you some, maybe we'll get into the event in a minute.
Yeah.
Because we haven't even gone into it yet.
But anyway, so it was a long-winded way of saying there does seem to. I also know that Carnival want to develop a kind of media training centre for kids. So there does seem to be this groundswell of feeling that, and I hope we're not going to dissipate our energies, half set up sticks.
No, it'd be wonderful
it's
if
all-
everybody could come together, because Octavia have been doing the media training for quite a number of years. I mean, my daughter
And
is
they
now.
supported us as well.
Yeah,
which
she's
I wanted to
26.
say on the night with cameras. and
Well,
just
they've got an
in that
amazing. Listen,
respect.
Octavia have got some equipment. They've got some
Jeez,
serious equipment in there,
amazing.
so they already have a blueprint. And if at YAA and also at Kids on the Green and your group, if you were all to consolidate, you could have an amazing project going on.
And
No.
this is it really. It's about the youth involvement and empowerment. Because when I was younger, Kensington and Chelsea had a choir when I was around 16, and it was absolutely brilliant. Ian Comfort, he was at the council, and he was really into a lot of youth activities and stuff. So we used to practice where the library is. So there's a private school in the library now.
Yeah.
We used to practice there, and we went to the Globe Theatre, we went to Wembley Stadium, we went to Cannes in France.
Was this like Glee? Was this competitive?
Kind of. Do you know what? There was
Did you
also-
mash it?
kind of. There was also a dance collective, and what they did is they merged them together, and we just used to go on tour. So you used to have the choir that sang, and then the dance collective, and that was really, really, really powerful at that time and empowering. That's why I've always said, you know what? There's a gap in the youth provision or even creativity in this area, and that's kind of where Artillery Collective came in, and we're just like, you know what? We really need to create some stars, because also a lot of kids go towards like your Simon Cowell's, your Britain's Got Talents and Britain's Got Talent
Yeah.
and your X Factors and stuff. So they go off and want that, but they need to create that vibe and that kind of, you know, energy locally, connect with those others who are doing it as well, create social media platforms that intertwine with everybody, and then kind of go off and be more independent and look at success that way as well, instead of being disappointed just that way. So that's kind of one of the reasons why, you know, the, the provisions in the area back in the day used to be amazing, and it is about bringing that back. And if, you know, the council don't want to fund it, then we'll put these events on till they eventually do.
Yeah.
Because
And I think, you know, if you have the right groupings of people coming together, you can go for funding and you can bring it in, because children, I think, and young people need that even more than ever. There was that horrible situation that just happened a few days ago where some kids threw a firework onto a balcony on Henry Dickens, and there was a fire started. And all it was is because they're bored. Then there's no youth provision. The things that you're talking about when you were younger, all the funding's been cut. I mean, RBKC butchered the youth service provision.
they did.
And young people are bored. And in this time where people are locked down and there's more social control, they actually need that outlet. So it's so important now.
I mean, I'll never forget. I mean, low key. I don't know if you remember. There was a kid got stabbed outside Whitstable House, opposite my house, and ended up in Low Key's arms. He came down because he's around the corner, and he couldn't believe it, because he said he used to be the assistant coach of a football team, and these kids were playing in the same football team 10 years ago, and then the provision just withered away. You could say it actually didn't wither; it went very quickly.
It's by design as well. There was a campaign to cut all youth provision. There was, and the community came out, and you know, we attended like extensive meetings and stuff. And even after school care was kind of dissipated and put into private hands. So you know, there's been an effort by the borough to cut all of these services.
And look what happened with their so-called
now.
CIC that's been a complete failure. I mean, I remember at the time, because I was at Delgado as a development manager for a while, and they were cutting, and you know, they were going to all the meetings about the youth provision, and then they were lauding this idea of setting up this CIC.
Was this epic?
Complete epic failure.
Epic fail.
An epic failure. I mean, but you know, and they destroyed so many of our youth
We
clubs. and stuff,
hashtag
and,
that here first.
Yeah. Always on Portobello Radio.
Excuse me. You also need to lay some blame at the door of the government, because, of course, they started squeezing the councils, and the councils. I mean, you know, Tony.
Yeah, of course.
I blame Tony Blair a tiny bit, because he did all.
I blame him a lot.
He did a lot of good things like Sure Start, but he was like embarrassed he didn't mention them. So like when they were thrown out.
Tony Blair sold us down the river. He had an opportunity to reverse a lot of what Thatcher and that lot had done, and to really try and build up the social structure in this country again, and he didn't. He let us down, and he moved on a neoliberal agenda. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, put him in the war crimes court. Way to keep. Yeah, send him to the Hague.
So I just wanted to just mention a few names who were part of the event.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
And you know, big up to the village for allowing us to host the event, because the energy was amazing. So the show was opened by a Senegalese drummer by the name of Denbar. He's amazing. He represents the Senegalese team, and his drumming is just phenomenal, and it's magnetic to watch. So he opened the event. Then we had Ameru. She did a little drum and she sang a little song. I think it's a Ghanaian song. What is it called?
Can you sing it too? Senwa di dende senwa. Senwa di dende senwa. Senwa di dende senwa di dende senwa di dende senwa.
Hey.
That was good. Oh, I didn't know you could sing like that.
What does it mean, Ameru?
I don't know.
And it's funny because I didn't know what it meant, but I've forgotten. But I'll come back to Isis.
That song. I mean, I'd never heard it before, like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's now become kind of a classic already. Was that something to adjust after the fire? I know a lot of the choirs who started after the fire sing it.
I think it's a song from Ghana. Or maybe Gambia or somewhere. Who's this from?
I imagine it comes
She's
from
from
people
Ghana.
who spread across borders, in fact. But
Yeah, it's a Ghanaian song, and I think it's a greeting, like a hello, because it's a call and response song.
yeah,
You call and then you
Though
get
I mean, a lot of
response.
the music is call and response, and like with the even with the drumming with the djembe, it's call and
yeah.
response. That's
Oh,
part
yeah.
of our tradition in Africa.
Mhm.
So, you know.
Yeah.
So who else was part of this?
yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
we
Yeah, we
stopped you in your
we're
tracks. to keep
mesmerized
up
by
with-
your daughter's beautiful voice.
to keep
And
up
my
the
croaky
train
one, I can't remember.
metaphors.
So then we had Misha. She played the violin. She played concerto, which is a classic classical piece, should I say? And then she played also "All the Stars Are Closer" by Kendrick Lamar and SZA.
Mhm.
So she played that, and then she sang a little bit of that at the end, which was great. And then she read a poem by hold on, Zico, just give me 1 sec. Then she read a poem by Maya Angelou, which was really powerful and it was really, really good. So then we had Haru on the stage as well.
Course.
Yeah, Haru came and he graced the stage, and he gave his power, and he gave his lyrics, and it was amazing. It was a great performance from Haru. We also had a rapper from East London called K9. We had another rapper called Mr. Dirty. We had Poetica, who's a brilliant lyricist. She's a spoken word artist. She's absolutely amazing, has a lot of depth. And then we topped the show off with Nat Nye, who
Nat is fantastic. Yeah,
just-
rap, shout
Woo!
out. Oh my God, Nat is fire.
He
Yeah.
is fire, and he's just.
Was this beautiful Queen Stella there?
Stella was there as well.
Yeah, she's incredible as well.
She
of
is as
course.
well. She is. And we also had a small performance. We had a performance from Miles as well, which was great.
Always good.
And then Demba, he closed the show again. And I also sang a little thing, which
Oh.
I just kind of, the vibe was there. So I sang a song called Freedom, and it's from the Black Panther soundtrack.
Oh yeah, I've played that one. Oh, that's one of my tracks I've played on my
did
show.
you?
Yeah. It's
one
a
of my
beautiful,
all-time
beautiful.
favorites.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
And
track. Yeah.
Yeah, so I sang some of that, and that was great. But we do have TC87 on the line. I don't know if you want
Yeah,
to
get
just
him
say how
on.
quick
Let him say what he has to
TC,
say.
are you there?
I'm here. I'm tuned in finally.
Yeah. Hi there. Thanks for joining us. It's a bit difficult here because we're using multiple bits of weird technology. But tell us a little bit about your role in the collective and also in Friday Night.
I didn't catch that fully. Could you repeat that?
Yep, sure. Piers was asking what your role is in Artillery Collective and what you did on Friday night and what you thought of it and stuff as well.
Well, we're a small organization, a seed growing to a big tree. So I'm one of the founders, along with Shireen, and basically my role is I bring the expertise of music. I bring that kind of music element to the group. I bring kind of musical connections to the group, musical knowledge to the group, and that's kind of my main role at the moment. We all it's kind of hard to say because we all feed into each other's roles at the moment, because as collectives and people that are of the arts, we always have ideas and kind of innovations on how we can, work better towards each other's tasks and roles. So, but my role is simply of a music kind of caliber right now. And on the night, I was hosting. I got some of the acts together, and I hosted the show. Yeah, that was my role on the night. I also got some of the equipment and so on and so forth. So we're a collective of people, and a collective means that, we work together, right? So basically, it's not just like I've got the role and then that's my job done once I fulfill my task. We collective, so we're collectively moving together as one unit. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. What are your ambitions for the collective?
Well, as a collective, we have the vision of creating projects and creating events that create social inclusion, social cohesion, social change, and revolutionary and innovative ideas of looking at the arts. We also have the vision of bringing forward a network of multidisciplinarians in multi-disciplines to create bigger projects that arts can like kind of run as at the helm, but we're bring in like scientists and mathematicians, sorts of people to create things that haven't been created before, that can teach and can propel people and into better positions in their lives, and also just bring joy and bring happiness to people, communities, nations, and so on and so forth.
Yep. Well, we could use a bit of joy right now.
We had joy on Friday, believe me. And also just to top off the event, we had a fashion show, which, you know, kind of gives it a different edge. And Teresa Williams, she's my mum, she designed quite a few items. And we had Leanne Allen, we had Gerard Williams, we had Zendaya, we had Ameru, Misha, Chelsea, and we also had Asia as models. But the main thing I wanted to do with this event.
We're at baseline on Langston West.
we have to work through all the distractions. Keep going, sister.
Was really to bringing some youths and to allow the youths to be involved in the process of running the show. So they helped us out with the technology. They helped us out with the promotion. For some of them, it was their first time on Zoom. So it was. Oh, that's okay.
That's my wife who's come to pick up Nobby, the succulent.
Okay. So,
hello, sweetheart. This is live radio, people coming from the heart.
Portobello styling. Portobello styling.
Lancaster West Neighbourhood Teams Baseline Studios, right next to the Tea Garden. And we're on a spoken word tip and a general creative tip.
Isis might do a few lines today, but yeah. So basically, the youths got involved, and yeah, they basically they did an amazing job. We had Alima, we had Shakara, we had Kasenza, and we had some other individuals helping out at the event. So it was brilliant, and you know, yeah, it was a blessing.
Funny enough, one of the things that was lost to the fire was, if you remember Miriam, who we've somehow referenced 3 times during the show, Miriam, who's the Westway Trust arts person.
Oh, yes. Miriam
She'd put together a summer festival that was entirely curated by young people, whatever. I think they were 16 or 17 because there was some gap in their lives that had allowed them to have four months to do this.
Right.
And I mean, obviously there's nothing next to the tragic loss of life, but you mustn't forget there were lots of great things on the point of happening.
Yeah. And it's about bringing them back, literally. It's about the community coming out and really speaking about what they want, petitioning the organizations. And, you know, if they need help with funding, asking for it, to have ideas, feeding it into organizations that, you know, like your IAA scheme and, you know, like the venture or whatever it is, just, you know, speaking up about what it is. But there are also participatory grant funds that are available for young people that they can access as well, which is designed to help with their creativity. So it's just about knowing what is available, where, when, the deadlines, whether there's an extension and stuff. So it's about
easier said than done, of course.
Of course.
I mean, we started the program by talking about the clunky Arts Council website, which must have thrown a lot of people off because it really doesn't work very well.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Arts Council, please fix your portal.
On the other hand, a lot of people don't do themselves any favors when they see that the deadline for something is midnight on the 31st. That actually means, people, you have to get it in by midnight on the 31st. There's no point, I forgot, and wondering on the 2nd or 3rd why you didn't get the money.
No, that's true.
So it works both ways, people.
Prevention is better than cure.
But thank you, Shireen.
Thank you, Shireen. And
It's really important to hear what's happening for Black History Month. And again, to keep that message, Black History Month is not 1 month or
It's
Black
all
History.
year
It's
round. Black History
thank you,
year.
365.
Yeah, round.
And we want to keep it going that way.
And also there's there's so much coming with the release of the movie. I know there's a little bit of ups and downs with the release of the Mangrove 9. It's called,
yes,
it's called what is it called?
It's
I have
called
no
Small
idea.
Acts.
Small Acts,
yes.
yeah.
Steve McQueen.
Yeah, I know it isn't perfect, but there's that. So there's so much history to divulge in the area. It's all around us, and sometimes
And of
it just
course,
takes
you and
asking
I will
people.
be carrying on with our stuff around Kelso Cochrane, and hopefully we'll be
Definitely.
doing bigger, better things next year.
Yeah, of course. Zico, do you want to say quick something before we go?
No, just thank you for having us. Thank you for showing interest, and just like you were saying, man, like it's not a month, it's a lifetime. So
What was it Ruben said? Black History. Oh no. I don't feel I can misquote him, but Ruben had a lovely line about
I can't remember now.
a black man being for life.
Oh yes, but not for Christmas, for life. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Portobello Radio. It's been amazing. Thanks for the invitation.
I hope you'll
Thank
come
you.
in and tell us about the next thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, yeah, we want to know all about what you guys are doing.
Okay, thank you. Say bye, Meru.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And we move on. We'll move on with Real Fight. Nadak Samelo, more of hip hop from Senegal. Here's, there you go. That is one of my favorite albums, African Underground, hip hop from Senegal. Yeah, you might have to say that again, Isis, because we didn't have the fade.
We
up.
do like the Senegalese, don't
Yeah,
we?
we do.
It's all about Senegal.
And we got JC up.
Can we give Mr. Kamau a voice?
Yeah.
Greetings.
We are delighted to have with us our old friend JC Kamau. You're not actually. You are a spoken word. You're a poet.
Yes.
But oddly enough, you're not here in that role. It's a spoken word special, but you've come here.
But we was speaking words when we was doing our lecture. Our lectures are
There you go.
spoken
You
words.
see, you can't play with a man. He's a wordsmith.
No.
And I was doing some spoken word earlier on with my band,
okay.
1000X.
1000X. Come on,
Right.
big shout out to the band.
Yes.
And
indeed.
also, JC and I did the Festival of Dissent. We did the Words of Dissent poetry events together, which were great. I need to get some more money for that. That was
No, and
actually-
your poems are they still on the windows in some shops as part of Kensington Chelsea Art Week? Is
There
that-
was in what's the college, Warrington College,
Oh right.
and online. Apparently, I didn't actually get to listen to. I heard Damien as part of the exhibition. What was the name of the
Oh,
exhibition?
the word on the hill or something.
Word on the Hill.
Yeah, no.
I heard Damien's whose his words were fantastic. It was nice to hear him. I didn't even. I was very surprised to hear Damien. I was like, I know that
I didn't
voice.
even know Damien was a poet.
But I didn't get it cut out after 10 minutes. I didn't get to hear mine.
Right.
But
no,
apparently I'm on part
Yeah,
of that.
the day that I went on the art trail, something had to do. There was something. It was an installation that involved poetry, sounds, craft, and also kind of flags and pictures. And there'd
Yeah.
been some problem on the day I went round.
Okay. It was
So,
ringing.
Our other favourite topic, of course, is Black History Month.
Yes, because we're extending it. We're not limiting it to 1 month.
Well, I was gonna say, because today I was doing also quite a busy day, but I was doing some getting some final bits of information research for my book, To Be or Not to Be Black. And one of the pieces of information was about James Edward Maceo West.
Ooh.
You'd probably be like, who's this? But this is a very significant African American inventor. In 1962, he invented the foil electret microphone, which we all are using in multiple devices right here in your laptop, this microphone, our mobile phones.
Wow.
But this man of African descent, his device, which we utilize on a day-to-day basis, is a very, very big part of African history and normal history, history in general.
Just history.
Exactly.
You don't need the adjective.
No, we don't need to keep putting that color in, or that country, or that ethnicity, or that race. We could just say history.
Anyway,
Exactly.
you guys did, as people are probably tired of hearing, we're all members of the Pavilion Hive, Portobello
Ooh, shout
Pavilion.
out to the Pavilion Hive. What an
Um,
amazing group of people they are.
But
Indeed.
you guys did a couple of Black History Zoom lessons
For yes.
during October. Now they weren't on the regular subjects, were they? Because they touched on medicine and touched on
Yeah,
all
well,
sorts
this
of
was
things.
Jesse's idea. Do you want to tell everyone why we did them?
Well,
No, he doesn't.
I'm trying to. I almost spoke a complete with complete honesty there, and I thought well, I won't do it here.
No.
But
Portobello Radio,
part-
where the truth comes first.
part
The future is
of
unwritten.
it was the fact that during the COVID-19 when it first started, they was speaking about vitamin D deficiency amongst people of African descent. So I was like, oh, that's not correct because as I found out in recent times, everybody that lives in the Western Hemisphere at this moment in time, or in England at least, Northern Hemisphere,
That's the one.
is suffering from vitamin E deficiency because the sun is so weak. Even if any of us was to go outside at 12 o'clock during the daytime naked, we still wouldn't get enough vitamin E in our vitamin D in our bodies.
No sunburn.
That's what the police helicopter is.
So yeah, it was mainly about that, and also due to Black History Month, people always talk about Black history and the historical sense of our race, but there's also a major thing that needs to be come to the greater light, which is the science of African people and the science of melanin, and how the fact that we are all 99.9% the same, but there's one major chemical in our system that makes us all quite different, and melanin is something that needs to be out there. So that is one of the reasons why I thought we should do something about Black history and not Black science.
So yeah, it was about health and holistic health.
Holistic health.
What is
comes with it.
melanin? Because when Ruben had that line about melanin being worth more than titanium or platinum or whatever,
And gold.
is it a mineral?
No, it's a DNA composite, and it's in all of us have melanin in us, but obviously the less melanin you have means basically you white people have got less melanin than we
They're
have.
melanin albino.
Yeah, you're melanin albinos.
We've got a melanin deficit.
But there are different types of melanin.
Yeah.
There's euromelanin, which most people of African descent have, and there are other types that I can't remember right now.
Right, but I'm sure people could Google
Yeah,
it
so
if
it's an
they wanted.
element.
Or could they listen?
And this is melanocyte. And I tell you what would be even better to listen, because that is the reason why I'm here.
Yeah, you're promoting something, mate.
Yeah, because we've saved the audio files.
Everyone on Portobello
and
Radio
we're going to give them to Portobello Radio.
Exactly.
And then you can play play them as podcasts. There's 4 of them. The first one I did was on Queen Afua, and then you did
Layla Africa.
And then I did Dr. Sebi, and then you did
Marvelous Melanin.
So we've got 4 amazing podcasts which are ready to go. I've just got to probably Dropbox them to you guys, and then you can arrange to put them out on.
Oh, so we don't have a time and date yet.
No, but we need.
okay.
We'll sort
We
that
can
out.
work one out after the show. It's ironic, isn't it, that you of African descent got all of your stuff done during Black History Month, where as the white guy who was trying to explore the history of Camberley, I'm the one whose project is drifting into the whole year.
Well,
that's good, because at the end of the day, it's white people that labeled Black History Month.
Yeah.
So hopefully you can start the campaign.
My sloppiness is going to be the tipping
You're taking
point.
it outside. You're saying Black History Month's in November, and maybe even December.
we don't have time. We don't
Yeah,
have time for
just
that.
let me finish this, John. You know what? We are going to play another record, I think, because we're nearly at the end of the show. We might have to come halfway through this. This is Stella. It's a train song, but that is train in an African language. I don't speak. Stimela is Humascala. So what language would that be?
No, be
And-
either Kosa or
and-
Zulu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
South African.
Anyway, this is the train.
The
about,
click language.
Yeah. This song is about the train that brings all the poor people from the states north of South Africa in to work for peanuts and be brutalized.
And actually,
in
and
the
it's not
mines.
just the trains; it's the buses as well. It's a real problem.
No, I think this is written in the 60s,
Oh,
so
okay.
it would
So
have
it
been
was the
just
trains.
trains.
Okay.
But
Now it's the buses
if
as
anyone
well.
wants to do a remix called Cold Bus, I'm sure Hugh Masekela's
Legacy
would
is
be
willing to.
delighted to talk about it.
My
Africa.
story was about when I was in Azania, known
Yeah.
to some as South Africa, and I was in the squatter camp in Soweto, and there's a train track that runs under it. And I was standing looking over and happened to see a train go past with a group of about 5 boys standing on the train, and they were balancing themselves on the top of the train. And they call it train surfing. And I'd never actually seen that in real life. And I was like, because if they fall off, that's it. I mean, what a dangerous thing. But that's what they do, apparently. They jump on the trains at the depot, and then they ride the trains. And they were literally on the top, and you could see them balancing. And it was like watching somebody on a surfboard.
How is the train network in Africa? Is it kind of, has it been developed? Is it falling into rack and ruin? Are there
Well, look,
a few
let's
main
remember,
arteries?
when we speak about Africa, we can never speak about Africa in the same way that we speak about Europe or whatever else, because it's so vast.
No,
I mean,
it's-
even compared to, I mean, it's so phenomenally large, so that what happens in the north to the east to the west is so incredibly different. So you have got trains in certain parts. In,
Which
in
are
Kenya, you'd have a
better
train.
train
Yeah,
country?
Egypt, you have a train. I think there's-
Obviously, in the deep south, you have a train.
you have trains. You have trains. in
Gregsy, we need to give a
You have
voice
trains.
to
You
JC.
have trains in Joburg. You know, you have. Sorry, go on.
I've been on a train in Egypt,
Right.
multiple trains.
And
Don't-
how was the network?
Oh, it was very good. The fantastic thing about it is that the Egyptians, in certain parts of the journey, they actually, when it stops, they got off the train, go and pick some mangoes, and then come back and
Yeah.
get on the train. It's
But that
fantastic.
is
totally different to what you see in Europe.
But the mythology of trains that that people write songs about is that train going a long way, taking people. Midnight Train to Georgia is taking the failure back out of LA home, or you've got the
Well, of
train
course,
going
yeah.
west
They are-
to find the new. And the culture is like in
Well,
India.
somewhere like Kenya,
food,
you'd have that. You'd have a really long train journey. I mean, I know that in Gambia they don't have any trains. I mean, there are trains in Senegal, because when I was in Dakar, there's a train station. I've never taken one.
The French are quite good on trains.
Yeah, they do like their trams. Their trams. Is it trams?
The journey I took was a 2-hour journey.
Yeah.
And that was part of the actual journey. It wasn't that I was getting off on one station and getting on one station and getting off at another. But there were other stations after my station and before the station. So it was a long journey.
And I have to say, Amtrak is a really good service. I've been like by train
Where it exists.
Well, it does. It exists in most places. You can go across. I mean, it does not every single place has a stop, but you can get pretty close. So, and the service is really, really good. When I went to Baltimore by train, and then I've been from one part of Florida to another. Very good. I have
The
to
only
say.
train. I mean, I took a train from I think New York to Boston, and it was slow, dirty, and not very successful.
Oh, so you got the white man's train, and I got the black woman's
Yeah,
train.
that's right.
Yeah.
I got both. I got
the-
both. On the way there, I got the dirty train. I was with all the locals, which was an experience. But on the way back, I had a nice, luxurious first class train. It was-
Foreigner train.
Yeah,
The,
it was very, very nice.
I imagine the culture that could be writing songs about trains now would be that Central American culture, because that is where the train means something. The people getting on the train, hanging on the trains, come up from Honduras, come up from Guatemala, come up from El Salvador, looking for the new life in America, and that is where the train probably is still creating new mythologies.
And I will just add that there was a Jamaica Railway Corporation, and in 1900, it was very active. So yes, There was trains in Jamaica. That's why so many reggae tunes talk about train.
Right.
There you go. It's a little fact, listeners.
I still, I feel that I find it difficult to believe that Bob Marley wanted you to stop the train that was going 5 miles along the coast. I think he was thinking about the great trains of Africa or the great trains of America.
All he said was, "Stop that train! I want to get on." It doesn't matter where it was going. He wanted to get on the train.
No, it's draw your brakes. Draw your brakes. I want to get off. And it's stop that train. I want to get on, isn't it?
Yeah, he wanted to jump on the train. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like Casablanca.
There you go. It's all about love and trains at the end of the day.
All right, that conversation, rich as it was, diverted us from the main aim of selling things. What are we selling, Gregsy? We're selling Saturday sessions, are we not?
Yes, indeed we are. This weekend, of course, line up,
Yeah.
roll up, roll up. We have the most incredible Saturday sessions. Start at 2 p.m. on Saturday, repeated 2 p.m. on Sunday. Absolutely stupendous. This week, we're not too sure exactly what the timings are, but the players and the movers and the shakers of the day involve Barcodes, the most incredible
They'll be at 5 o'clock.
live scratch up peoples. Yeah, they will be at 5 o'clock. Neville Hyde.
And we'll be at 6 o'clock.
We'll be at 6 o'clock. My goodness. I'm pretty certain Jason Boone's got a dark disco for us. I might put him on early doors because he's a bit indie, he's a bit slow beats, he's a little bit electronica.
He is drifting off the house music a little bit.
Yeah, he is. He's getting into his industrial German tech.
Yeah.
It's quite mental, quite mental. But yeah, that's probably going to be about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. Jez Harkin is sending one across fresh from the United States. So maybe it's going to be a little bit led by the elections.
Yeah, Jez Harkin actually spends a lot of time on these shows. They're really, really good. They are rich media.
Yeah, man. No, loads of great
inputs, loads of
unfound funk, soul, US indie.
And he spins a web with the words as well.
Yeah, man. He's clever. He's very clever.
So more of you need to listen to that.
Yeah,
Look
man.
out for it.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, the last person who I'm going to announce, but of course, we've got loads more DJs coming on, but they just haven't quite been confirmed, is Christopher Sullivan. So, yeah, Chris Sullivan's going to be playing one of his fantastic One Nation Under the Grove. So look forward to that, 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon.
And of
rolling
course,
through.
you can hear this show again at midday tomorrow and 10 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh, we're going to play at 10 a.m. We're not going to do Aidan McManus's punk thing on at 10 a.m.
No, we played that last.
Oh, do we? Okay, cool. It was just that what was in the diary.
I know,
I'm
but
so
it
sorry.
says that all the time for some reason in our diary.
Cool. We'll have to
Says
sort
the
that one
same
out.
thing. So
Yeah.
10 o'clock on Sunday, you'll
Yeah.
be able to listen to this show again. Midday at Sunday, you'll be able to have another chance to listen to our new collaboration with the Irish Cultural Centre.
Yeah, man.
Which is an hour of arts and culture and an hour of live performance.
Mental, absolutely mental. Hanging on my right-hand side, because we've only got a couple of more minutes of this show, is the most incredible Dinny Kennedy, who is going to tell us all about the latest project that's going on somewhere on the Goulburn Road, somewhere in the footfall of Trellick Tower. Here we go.
Hi. So basically, Wednesday we were waiting. I run Meanwhile BMX Club, so
Dinny, everyone knows you, man.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So for those that don't know, I run Meanwhile BMX Club, and as part of being BMX Club, we are trying to help out Meanwhile Gardens with the situation with the building and preventing the building from leaking. So whilst we were waiting to go up and survey the roof, we were getting coffee at Goulburn, and a guy called Hisham, who's now rented number 9 Goulburn Road, that used to be the betting shop underneath Trellick Tower, got talking to us and basically offered me and my friend Dan work in lieu of a space in the basement to run a community bike shop and a Whole Foods store upstairs and a pizza oven downstairs to heat the whole building. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So is that bespoke bikes for? I mean, can I come and say?
Yeah, you can tell me what you want, and I'll measure you up.
Whatever derail of that. And
yeah,
all that stuff.
Yeah, proper, like artesian.
So
bikes. No, every type of bike that we can, if we can fix it, we'll fix it. We're gonna have like a workshop down there, and you'll be able to come in around the back. Where the Hall of Fame is, the back of Trellick. We're going to have a loading dock there. So
around the back of Goldfinger.
Yes. Yeah, we're next door to Goldfinger.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm stoked. And it's like, because this area doesn't have enough bike shops, and the bike shops that are here, to be quite honest with you, fail on so many
Yeah,
levels.
and we lost that one on Portobello Road, didn't we? I mean, All Saints
All
Road.
Saints,
that's gone, so,
Ninon, The Ninon I knew for like 30 years, and it was so gutting. And like one of the guys that actually used to work there now works at Halfpipe. So yeah, they've actually got a couple of good mechanics.
And don't forget, there's always Augusto around the corner in Munro Mews.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
If you keep the same hours as him, Jenny, that is great. Do you need people to help now, or
well, what we're doing is we're basically hopefully going to launch on my birthday, which will be January the 8th.
Great.
Yeah.
So God alone knows where we'll be
So
on January
is it
the
that
8th.
you want everyone to know so that they all give you birthday presents? They all pop in and drop off birthday presents.
Yeah, we're gonna have a launch party there. Yeah, there's gonna be a little housewarming. You know, we signed the contract last night, so
it's all good.
I'm
Onwards
stoked.
and upwards. So
damn straight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our time. We're not even going to play out with a song. We're going to play out with an item. What do you think, Greg?
Go on then.
I love Portobello Radio.
And we're out.
PortobelloRadio.com. Tune in when you get a chance.
Bye.